The digestive system is composed of 10 organs and 20 plus cell types and aims to break down food into nutrients that the body needs to stay alive. The digestive system can be categorized into four compositions. First, the gastrointestinal tract or the alimentary canal, which transports food. Second, the pancreas, gallbladder, and liver. They break down food using specialized juices. Third, hormones, enzymes, nerves, and blood works together to break down food, modulate digestive processes, and transport final products. Fourth, the mesentery supports the organs in the abdomen in place for them to execute their tasks. The digestive process begins in the mouth. Once food is ingested, chewing occurs, and then salivary glands produce enzymes which breaks down food starch. This then turns food into a moist lump called bolus. Then, the bolus passes down to the esophagus, which is a narrow tube whose nerve senses the bolus's presence and triggers peristalsis, which is a series of muscle contractions which pushes the food down further to the stomach. Once the bolus reaches the stomach walls pushes the food around until it breaks into even smaller pieces. Hormones in the lining triggers the release of acids and enzymes which dissolves the food into proteins. The bolus now turns into chyme and moves to the small intestine where it meets bile in the duodenum. In the duodenum, fats from the chyme gets dissolved for it to be easily digested by the intestinal and pancreatic juices. Fat molecules get broken down into fatty acid and glycerol for it to be easily absorbed by the body. Carbohydrates also gets broken down into glucose and proteins gets broken down into amino acids. This happens in the small intestines jejunum and ileum, where villi can be found to maximize absorption and transport nutrients into the bloodstream and onto the different parts of the body. Excess fibers, waters, and dead cells go onto the large intestine or colon, where it gets broken down into stool and gets transported to the rectum, which expands when it senses that the stool must be expelled. Lastly, the stool exits through the anus. Metabolism is the chemical change in living cells by which energy is provided for vital processes and activities, and new material is assimilated. It can be brought out by different factors. 1. Strong stomach acid and muscular contractions break down food. Stomach acid contains hydrochloric acid, which denatures proteins and turns biomolecules to its monomers. Peristalsis breaks down food into smaller chunks, like how bolus is turned into chyme in the stomach walls. 2. Some foods are more indigestible than others. Some foods like meat and carbohydrates take longer to be digested because the molecules have stronger bonds, which makes the breaking down of food longer compared to food like vegetables and fruits. 3. The brain influences the stomach. Stomach secretions are brought about by neural and hormonal connections. For example, when a person is under stress, the sympathetic nervous system prevents gastric secretions and shuts it down temporarily. When you digest a meal, especially foods with high carbohydrates like bread, pasta, and cakes, the level of glucose in your blood rises. On the other hand, when you eat too little or exercise too much, your blood sugar levels could fall dangerously low. It is important that the level of glucose in the blood is controlled so that it does not rise too high or fall too low. This control is brought about by the pancreas, an organ which makes enzymes for the digestive system and hormones to control the blood sugar levels. The pancreas constantly monitors and controls the blood sugar levels using two hormones. When your blood sugar levels rise after a meal, your pancreas releases insulin. Insulin allows glucose to be taken into the cells of your body where it is used in cellular respiration. It also allows soluble glucose to be converted to an insoluble carbohydrate called glycogen, which is stored in the liver and muscles. When the blood sugar levels fall below the ideal level, your pancreas releases a different hormone called glucagon. Glucagon makes your liver break down glycogen, converting it back into glucose, which can be used by the cells.